Hello, I'm Rhianne van der Linde and I'm here with Lisa Grace, and we're both senior faculty at the Shakti Shiva Academy, and we're wanting to share with you something about a 7-week mini course that we have starting on the 5th of October called Basic Sexual Shadow Work. We'd just like to share a little bit with you about the course and then also give you an opportunity to meet us as the course facilitators. So Lisa, hi.
Hi, Rhianne. Such a
Hey.
pleasure.
Yeah. I'm really excited that we're going to be offering the Basic Sexual Shadow Work course based on Shakti's ebook, Shakti Malan's ebook that she originally wrote. And for those of you who don't know who Shakti was, she's the founder of the Shakti Shiva Academy. And she passed away in July 2017 after a journey with cancer. So yeah, Lisa, for me, doing this work for myself has been the most incredible journey. And I wanted to ask you why you do this work. Like, why are you drawn to doing this work for yourself, in addition to facilitating it, like a moth drawn to a flame?
Uh, um, I came to this work from a background with BDSM for years before I met Shakti Malan. And her combination of just the awareness and her Tantra and consciousness building work combined with shadow work and roping in those titillating conversations of BDSM into such a conscious way, it just completely transformed the way that I was viewing such experience or potential of human exploration and the body and that integration into ourselves as spiritual beings, as really melting the boundary that we tend to hold around us as these human bodied expressions, and what that means for us and our capacity to be in our liberated expression and in our full power that's hiding behind all that, the powerful motivators of shame and the pieces of self that have been relegated into those dark places, but really including it all and bringing it back into our potential of expressing the truth of our totality, of what is really here right now, and melting that boundary away that's separating us in this illusion of separateness, of what it means to be a human body with carnal desires and with our the subconscious and the way that it's spilling out into our interactions with others and with ourselves, and melting that boundary between us as these carnal expressions and the divine, and how that dance can just fully be coming through us. So
Yeah,
there's that's just to jump in the conversation a little bit.
yeah, there's so much there already. I think that for me, what you speak about desire, and just really uncovering what our desire is and how important a journey that in itself. It sounds simple, but to really relate to our desire from a subject position and not as the object of desire, or to be with the desire and the arousal that comes directly from the body, sort of, that is not associative and from fantasy or that eroticism. So like a referred desire, for instance.
Mm.
And that a lot of that is what we will be working deeply with on the course, as we meet and embrace our sexual shadow, opening the doors to the unconscious. What are some
Yeah,
of the other? Yeah, You go.
I wanted to say one thing that comes to mind because I jumped into this huge expression and you bring up also that it can be the most subtle
Mm,
and really the deepest listening and the slowing it down.
mm,
And I think I just want to voice that because there's an impression when we get into shadow work or BDSM or I used the word carnal, it's that it sounds so big and so intense. And really, when we get into the work, it's huge shifts are so possible just in the slightest noticing
mm.
and the slightest shift.
Yeah, there's infinite power in the small and in the subtle, really. Huh?
Mm.
Yeah, one of my favorite pieces that we really unpack in one of our modules is the breaking free from the victim, rescuer, persecutor triangle. For me, there's an incredible amount of power that gets freed up and revealed as we do our work of identifying those aspects in our own psyche and as they play out in our relationships, not only our sexual relationships, but absolutely that our sexual relationships are the richest place for all of our material to present to us, right?
Yes, yes. I love that you brought up just that piece of the drama triangle. It's so rich. And if people want to go look up right now the Cartman drama triangle or drama triangle, that it's part of this course is building with exercises and relationship, just unpacking that dynamic that is incredibly powerful and recognizing and fully owning the way that we hang out in each role in a dynamic and not just the one that we like to admit that we're in, but really all of them. And that's where our power is hiding.
Yeah, absolutely. Our power is hiding in the one that we least identify with or are willing to go, I am also that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lisa, in my experience, what I've come to discover is that taking radical responsibility for absolutely everything that is in the arising in my reality, that is where my greatest freedom lies. And for me, doing this work is what has continues to lead me towards freedom, the freedom to be exactly who I am in every moment, to respond from the truth of this moment without the overlays and the templates of family and culture and religion and the beliefs that I was given and that we've all been given through our through wanting to belong, wanting to be safe, all the twists and turns that we've made out of ourselves. This work really is about landing back and becoming more of who we really are, whatever that means for you. And for me, that's just been such a gift, I must say.
So coming back to your first question about returning to this work like moth to a flame, it's something about tasting the full truth and the nakedness, the bareness and the wildness of this human adventure and feeling just a beautiful simplicity and beautiful totality in being invited as my whole personhood. And that is, it's once there's an awakening to that potential, it's very hard to turn away
Mm,
and a desire to call others into finding their own expression, their own liberation,
mm,
and their own totality. It's it's just a treasure trove when you start doing these practices of turning over the little dark places inside of
mm,
ourselves and inviting that material into consciousness and into the team. that's included in our expression.
Yeah. And really turning to honestly face towards the uncomfortable, the uncomfortable, the awkward, and often even the unbearable feelings that we, of shame. Like shame is a painful feeling in sensation and in psyche. Embarrassment, guilt, fear, all of those big feelings that come up, particularly around our sexuality, and accessing the luminous power of our sexuality, as Shakti said, requires the willingness to love our sexual shadows. And one of the bonuses on that students get when they register for the course is the basic sexual shadow work ebook that Shakti wrote, in which she really looks at every aspect of our sexuality which is playing out from the unconscious. It's a really fundamental introduction as to how to work with the sexual unconscious, giving us a lot of the basic tools that we need to begin to work with our own sexual shadows, because it's really useful to have some guidance. Otherwise, it can be a very overwhelming and murky terrain.
Okay. So as part of the materials for the course, there's also a bonus Rhianne gave. I don't remember what year that's from, but
I think it was
it's
from
a beautiful
Shakti's.
talk that hasn't been.
I think it was in
Oh,
2011 when Shakti toured in the US.
yeah, she was in the US. And it's her speaking to the erotic response and as it connects to power and the perk, and using the erotic exploration as a way to awaken consciousness. And it's really, it gets into those unexpected places. So anybody who has impressions about what they think kink, BDSM, shadow work is about, that this pretty well blows it apart.
Yeah, it's a great bonus, huh? Yeah, and then I also wanted to share with whoever's watching that we also have two fantastic guest teachers. We're offering two great bonus calls. The first is with guest teacher Mark Paradis, and we'll be exploring together our most shameful sexual fantasies. And just that title, I feel, the juiciness of the self-liberation of really facing our shameful sexual fantasies, and then allowing the energy that's held there to just pop and self-liberate. And then our other guest teacher is Fernando Cavalier, and his topic is the shadow, the spiritual ally that no one wants. And again, like the ego, the shadow gets a really bad rap. We spend a lot of time trying to get rid of them, and actually there's a whole nother approach that we can take to this work of really loving deeply every aspect of ourselves and falling deeply in love with ourselves. So yeah, there's a lot that we're wanting to share with you on the course. Is there anything else you'd like to share, Lisa?
Just really excited to be teaming with you, Rhianne, and our material. That it's such an honor to hold this container and be offering this work for people to be on such a journey of self-discovery. And in this, as you say, there's just a complete loving nature to it, and welcoming all of the gritty and all of the intensities. Yeah,
I'm looking hugely forward to co-facilitating with you, Lisa, and we'd love to extend an invitation to you watching this video. If the content that we've touched on just briefly here has stirred a deep longing in your being, and if you're feeling the calling to do this sexual shadow work, then this mini course is a very good place to start. So our first live call is on the 5th of October, and all the course info is in the link below. And we look forward to having you join us. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for watching. Hope to have you on the course. Yeah, thanks, Lisa.